Ryan Goodman and Tanguay podcast is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, folks. It's time for the Bob, Ryan, Jeff Goodman and Tanguay Along for the Ride podcast. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Got a lot to do here, fellas. Some stuff from a lot of moving parts. Bob, Ryan, the Celtics right now, are they favored to win the NBA championship?
Well, probably by more people than anybody else. I'm still cautious. I don't fully trust them. I need to see this thing play out. I do not like one thing about what's going on. I don't understand it. I do and I don't. All right. That's the minutes thing. And that I understand you 8-man rotation. I can tell you chapter and verse. That's the way the NBA has been conducting its business for 50 years. You restrict your rotation to a degree, but within that, if you're up by 30 and you should not be playing your people. And I mean, I don't know. I don't like what's going on, and in that regard, that worries me. And I don't trust them fully yet. They have to prove themselves to me. I'm sorry. I know they do not need a talent infusion. They have enough talent to win the championship. It is simply a matter of playing properly, which they can do, but which I need to see them do.
Well, and why wouldn't you play? I understand the matchups isn't there for Grant Williams, but you know what? When you're like when you're in a series where you're clearly the better team and you're dominating this series for the most part, you're telling me you can't find 5 minutes a half to give Grant Williams for unless Grant's done something we don't know about. But keep him happy, number one, keep him engaged. And number two, like you said, to limit the minutes of 37 or whatever Al Horford is right now. And I'm not saying give Robert Williams more, because I don't believe in that. I think Robert Williams should be capped at 20 a night until the finals. But Grant Williams, give him more minutes, Joe, because again, it lessens the load on somebody like Al Horford. And as you said, at the end of games, we've seen it lately with other teams. Yep. Don't have guys in there. There was I forget who it was the other night. They were up 20. Who?
Randall.
Yeah. Randall. Randall got hurt and he got decked by somebody on a hard foul and landed and it looked bad. You don't want to take those chances. No, I mean,
this is where you wonder the relationship, the dynamics between the general manager and who happens to be the ex-coach of the team and the youthful mentor of the team. You'd like to think that conversation has been held or should be held.
Who's calling the shots? Is it the players or the coach?
Well, I don't think it's a players thing.
I don't either. I think Al would be fine. You think Al Horford's going to be that upset if he plays 30 minutes or 25 minutes instead of 32?
Jeff, I'm just looking for an explanation because it doesn't make sense.
No, it's Missoula. I mean, this is on Joe. This is on Joe and nobody else, because he could easily pull out 2 more minutes a half, 4 more minutes a half, and it's not going to affect the outcome of the game right now. But Joe Missoula is a rookie head coach who's trying to win games right now, and he understands, you know what? I'm not going to screw around. I'm putting the lineup out there that has the best chance to win these games. I don't even want it to get close.
But it's not like – but the thing is, it's not like he's playing – he's got 11 legit NBA players.
Right.
Most don't have
listen, that. You're going a little heavy on 11, putting Luke Cornett in there, all right?
I'm putting him in there, and I'm putting Muscala in there because he can shoot the basketball. I'm not saying he's to a place for him in this series now.
9. I'm going with 9, Bob. I'm going with 9, and Grant is your 9th right now if Hauser is your 8th. Yeah. So I'm fine, but play 9 in this series because you may not be able to play 9 in the next 2-3 series.
No, all right. So anyway, we can agree to disagree on the efficacy of the all right, fine. But you're right. It just worries me a little, and I don't like I don't want to see it again. Now
I'm with you.
That's it. So now, meanwhile, let's accentuate the positive. Devin, what Derrick White, excuse me. I want to call him Devin. I keep wanting to call him Devin.
Because he
Derrick
looks
White,
like a different player right now than what we saw last year. That's
I mean,
why.
this guy is playing at an all-star level at the moment, and it's been a tremendous boost to this team. And of course, we must congratulate our newly minted sixth man of the year, the third Celtic to win it, and to win the John Havlicek Award, the greatest sixth man ever. So congratulations, Malcolm. Thank you. And these guys have been. So this is where we want to applaud the general manager for pickups that he's made. He's really boosted this team with important acquisitions since the middle of last year.
You don't miss Romeo Langford?
Wow.
Is that what you're trying to say? You don't miss Romeo for Derrick White?
Don't want to diss Romeo, but I didn't know where Romeo is. Did he play this year? I don't know.
He might still be in San Antonio.
Jeff,
Who knows?
Jeff, how unusual, it seems to me, it's very unusual, unless I'm missing something, to have a college coach go to the NBA, be fairly successful, but then in his first year as GM, really hit it out of the park.
Well, again, because when it happened, right, it was almost like we all kind of thought of it as well. The only reason that Brad became the GM was because he was owed so much damn money as a coach, and they had to make a move at that point, right? It wasn't working. We knew that. Something had to be done, and you didn't want to trade Jaylen Brown. You certainly weren't going to trade Tatum, so you had to make a move somewhere. So the move was made with the coach. Well, all right, the move was made by the coach, and then you realize, all right, like Danny, it had run its course here. Wanted to get back to Utah, whatever, a change. So it was like, all right, we owe Brad all this money, and I think it was probably Danny's idea going to ownership, going to Wick and Pagliuca and saying, you know what, I think it works here. I think Brad can be a GM, and the ownership was probably like, all right, you know what, we don't have to blow all this money. We owe him $30 million or something like that. Let's try this out. And I almost think it was just like, all right, this is the way we're going to try it. And we have no idea if it's really going to work or not. And now you look at it, and it's been the best thing for the franchise because Brad as a coach had run its course. It had run its course with this group. They needed something different. Ime worked. Missoula's picked up where it left off because they've got good habits now. And I think that was part of it, right? Ime held them accountable when that group needed to be held accountable, and Brad wasn't doing it at that point. But Brad as a GM has been so much better than I ever thought he'd be. But looking at it objectively now, I shouldn't be surprised because he's such a smart dude.
Smart guy.
He's been coaching, so he knows all the personnel better than most in the league. And again, like he uses, I said it the other day on NBC Boston, he's a basketball guy who uses analytics. He's both. He combines both, which is what you need these days.
Right.
I would say that with regard to Messrs. White and Brogdon, the one I want to give him more credit for is identifying White, because he was off my radar screen. Really, I mean, he was barely on it for any reason whatsoever. I couldn't have told you anything about White background, what he'd been done at center. I was surprised to find out that he had scored 14 points a game the year before. I had no idea. Yeah. Brogdon, we got to. Anybody should know that you want Malcolm Brogdon on your team. That's easy. That's an easy one. If you don't know that, you don't belong. You shouldn't have a job. So that one, you got him. That's the good thing. But identifying him, no, you don't get credit for that because everybody knows he can play.
But also, Brad,
I can't believe you didn't know. I can't believe you didn't know Derrick White went to.
I didn't.
Colorado Springs. He was like a D3 player, and
right.
Colorado, and Tad Boyle took him at Colorado University and was really good. And you know what he is? He's just a very understated person and player. And he was so bad last year, and he made a good amount of money. I mean, that was the thing. It wasn't a light contract when they traded for him, but he was so bad last year. In fact, the last two games of the Golden State series in the NBA Finals, you know how many total points he had in those two games?
Squadouche?
Three points total.
Well, I remember though, he started out great, and I was like the first the X Games or 2 weeks.
5 games.
Started out great. And then he did
Couldn't make a shot. Could not make a shot.
Do you know what happened, Jeff? Did you hear anything?
No, I just think for Derrick White, it's about fit and taking time to acclimate himself, because he is a guy who just kind of steps back. You know, he doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. He just wants to be liked by everybody and fit in. And I think it took a while with that group, and his confidence was shot. Like, you could see it last year in the playoffs. He had no confidence shooting the basketball. And I remember preseason, Damon Stoudamire talking to me when I went down there, and he was like, Derrick White is a different player. And he was working with him at that time. And I'm like, all right, like, I want to see it, because I love Derrick White. When they got him, I love that trade, because, again, I felt like it was adding an adult in the room when you desperately needed to add an adult in the room. Remember how bad the chemistry had been. They hadn't done well. They had just started to flip it when they got Derrick White. Like 2 weeks before, they had started to have some success. But to me, it was more about getting guys who knew how to play the right way, that weren't out for themselves. So they get Derrick White last year, and then they have Malcolm Brogdon. You're adding two big-time adults in the room who are all about the right things on and off the court.
Yeah,
All right, guys, I have a question for you coming up on Atlanta, but now I have to tell you about FanDuel. Grand Slams, no-hitters, and double plays are back, and there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official partner of Major League Baseball. And new customers in Mass can get in on the action with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston. Finally, you can bet on all your favorite sports, from the money line to point spreads to player props and more. It is so easy to use. I mean, I have trouble with the microwave. This app is so easy. You can do it. Don't be intimidated. Log on and do your thing. So, hey, you used to call your bookie. Now you just go to the app. So bet on the app that's safe, secure, and again, really simple to use. Don't miss your chance to get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/Boston and make every moment more. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. 21 plus and present in Mass. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Hope is here. Gambling helpline, ma.org, or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com or call 1-800-GAM-1234. To wrap up the Celtics topic, do we learn anything? Does Atlanta tell us anything, Bob? I mean, that they're...
No, they tell us that they're not any good.
Yeah, okay.
No.
They tell us that
This
Trae
series
Young,
doesn't mean much.
I don't
I mean,
want to get
nothing.
They're taking care of business. That's what the Celtics are doing.
Okay.
They're taking care of business.
They're lucky. They're lucky that they got Atlanta, not Miami, in a way. Not that Miami would have beat them, but they might have extended the series another game or two.
Jeff, I went on record before the Atlanta-Miami play-in game as saying, if Miami wins, Celtics in 6. If the Atlanta wins, Celtics in 5.
Exactly.
And they might win game 3.
Maybe 4.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I said 5. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt because I've been around too long. I'm sorry. I seen too many 2-0s turn into 2-2.
You've been around? You've been around?
I've seen too many 2-0s that look ridiculous and 1 and 2 turn into 2-2 before you know it.
Right.
And
No, you're right.
So I don't put my hand in that stove anymore. I expect the home team to win game 5 till proven game 3 till proven otherwise.
I just don't trust Trae Young. And the other thing, when we're talking about Derrick White, the job he's done defensively.
Oh, defensively, he's no. I mean, I was going to bring that up, that we were talking about him in terms of all the stuff and all the attributes he's bringing to the team. But I didn't know we were getting such a great defensive player as well.
Good.
And
that's the thing. You can put Hauser out there now because he's surrounded by 4 dudes.
Yeah.
There's nobody defensively who's not really good other than Sam Hauser that's going to take the court for the Boston.
You mean Sam Hauser, whose metrics have him the best defensive player in the league?
Is that true?
Oh, yeah. Did you know that? No. The metric number 1, the greatest player that ever lived is Sam Hauser when the other team has the ball, according to the metrics. Don't get me started.
Unbelievable. You could drive the ball past Sam Hauser.
No, I could probably post him up anyway.
Okay, some breaking news. He goes from being coach of the year before you know it's unemployed, and Bob Ryan has the biography of Nick Nurse, who now has been let go of from Toronto. Bob.
Yeah, hired in 2018, wins the championship in 2019, is coach of the year in 2020, and is on the unemployment line now in 2023.
Well, when Kawhi Leonard leaves, that's what happens.
But he's got friends. He'll get a job, and I'm sure.
He might get Houston. He might get Houston.
Yeah, he's already right. They're already speculating about Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're good enough, I don't care if you got Kawhi Leonard or if you got Bill Russell. If you're good enough to win a championship, you're going to get a job. It's going to be on your resume. He's got no negatives about his personality.
What about his? You went through his path a little bit, but didn't his path include G League and like overseas or something?
Okay, first of all, he played in England. For the record, he went to Northern Iowa. Okay, He played in England. He coached in Northern Iowa, and then he has coached in Belgium. Yes, I said Belgium, England, and of course, colleges as South Dakota assistant, Oklahoma, and then I encountered him in 2007. I happened to be in Des Moines, Iowa, for reasons we won't go into at the moment, and nothing nefarious, but I think and
you're making it sound like you had a girlfriend in Iowa or something there for a minute.
No, it was my association at the time, and I don't want to stop. We don't want to go there at the moment. But anyway, I was in Des Moines when he was hired as coach of the Iowa Energy, and I never heard of him ever. Never knew the name of my life. Never ever heard of him.
Yeah.
And he spent 4 years there. Then he went to the Rio Grande Valley Vipers.
Oh yeah.
And then he was an assistant for 5 years with the Raptors before they gave him the head job.
Don't you love guys like that though? I just, I love guys because it's just they don't care where they are. They just want to.
Yeah, they grind it out, and you know what? He loses his job now. He's like, I've been there. I've been there, and now I got a ring on my finger. I got more money than I ever knew what to do with. I ever thought I'd make in this profession. I'll figure it out.
Most coaches. How many coaches don't get fired? I mean, it's
right.
Part of, in the NBA, it's part of the game.
Hey, look at our boy, our man Doc.
Yeah,
that's right.
Mean,
it happens. I do remember when I was covering the games. Boy, he talked a lot during the game. Nurse, oh my God, he was like just the opposite of Brad. He was non-stop. Just the opposite of Brad. Anyways.
Can I give you another one before we move on, Gary? Another guy that, a lot of these NBA head coaches like come out of nowhere in a way because, like Quin Snyder, who the Celtics are playing against right now. He was ostracized from college basketball when he was fired in Missouri in like 2005 or 6, right around there. And he had to go. He coached, I think, in the G League. He coached overseas, I think, in Russia for a while. So, and he finds a way back here, and now Quin's, regarded as one of the best coaches in the NBA. It's going to be interesting to see, this whole Trae Young saga play out, because obviously he didn't get along with Nate McMillan, which is no surprise because Nate was all about defense when he played, and Trae doesn't play a lick of defense. So you knew those weren't going to work. Can Quin figure it out even short-term enough to build his value back up so they can move Trae Young for another superstar? Because you don't want to get, 50 cents in the dollar when you trade Trae, but Trae can't be your guy. He can't be the best player on a team contending for a championship. He can be the top guy on a team that gets in the playoffs and gets knocked out in the first or second round.
Right, well,
okay, gentlemen. Do we have a throwback to the 80s here, Bob Ryan, with all the physicality here in the NBA?
I saw the whole Philadelphia Nets game.
Okay, so Embiid gets a flagrant, Harden gets ejected, which to me, guys,
Harden's foul was absolutely, and I'm no fan of his, but he's not a bad human being. That was a garden variety offensive foul, period. No more, no less.
Right.
Nothing. He elbowed him. The guy was on him. He elbowed him in the chest, and it wasn't even he didn't cock it. If he cocked it, no.
It was a joke.
It was a jab. Yeah. It was ridiculous, and I'll stick up for him on that one. Now, as far as Embiid's concerned, this all starts with Embiid's thing, with the horror that is stepping over someone, which in the NBA has now been codified as a technical foul because and in the culture of the league, it's disrespect. You know, the code word of the 21st century. It's what I was disrespected. Oh my goodness. You know, so Claxton was disrespected. I mean, Embiid was disrespected by Claxton, and then he stuck his leg up there, and it was near the that private part.
But as Charles Barkley says, near the junk.
It didn't even get there though. I don't think. Yeah, it reached the thigh. It was out of control. This whole thing was crazy, and now we got to. So I'll stick up for Embiid. I mean, I'll stick up for Harden for sure. I mean, Embiid
Harden doesn't have any. Listen, there's nothing in his background that suggests he's done this stuff before. Like James Harden, if you want to rip on him for something, you rip on him for being selfish. That's fine, but you're not ripping on James Harden for anything he's done in the past.
Yeah, he's not a dirty player.
No. Embiid has a lot in his kind of closet in terms of talking shit and again, he got the brunt of it last night. After that, I mean, they were mugging him all game. I mean, that was the game plan last night from Jacques Vaughn, was try to frustrate him, try to get him to where he's completely off his game and talking shit and doing some things that he doesn't want to do. I give Embiid credit because a couple years ago, he would have lost it. And last night, he kept his composure for the most part, stayed on the floor, looked like he was hurt multiple times, and he's playing through injury. And your boy, Tyrese Maxey, was awesome.
He won the game. Embiid saved it with the block, but Maxey won it. They were down 5, and he had a big 3 and started their 11-1 run, right? And he had a great fourth quarter. I mean, I can't say enough about him. I think he's a wonderful player.
Bob Ryan said, "Don't give up on Philly."
You know who else loves Maxey? You know who loves him and has raved about him to me for the last year? George Niang has said loves Maxey's approach, his toughness. Obviously, he can score from all 3 levels. Maxey's kind of been a game changer for them, and was last night when he had to run the point when Harden got kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Bob. Did you have one more thought?
I was going to say Embiid did ham it up a bit, Jeff, when Claxton went out. If you remember,
he did, but that's Embiid. That's Joel.
I know it is.
The hard part of all this, and Gary, I don't know if we wanted to rewind here, but the Draymond thing. That's what everybody's kind of comparing.
It's on the list
to Draymond, and to me, again, the difference was post-incident with Draymond, that he's up there yelling, screaming at fans. Adam Silver's in the building. Like that's the problem to me. It wasn't just the 2 incidents, take them by themselves and compare them. It was how Draymond reacts after this, shouting, inciting. Listen, I'm not saying fans aren't yelling, screaming, shouting obscenities at him. They are. But he's inciting it. He's taking it to a further level instead of just trying to calm it down.
Oh, he prides himself on. Well,
that's his thing right now. That's his role. Package. I mean, he did it last year.
His whole package, he prides himself on. I got to be that way. That's what you take. You got to take my whole package, etc. But I'm just upset though, if in fact, as I heard alluded to on television, that the suspension was more to do with what Jeff just talked about, that behavior, rather than the stomp. And I'm if that's the case, no. The stomp is what enough to get suspended. That stomp was it's unwarranted. Right. I'm sorry. Oh, I grabbed my leg and I didn't have a place to land, and I'm not a flexible person. BS. He grabbed him. Big deal. It didn't hurt him. Didn't hurt him in any way. Didn't impede him. He stomped on him because he's Draymond Green, and he has a thing about Sabonis too. I guess now there's a little bit.
Really.
So I think so. Yeah. So
we know who you're siding with. Hey, we know who you love.
You're right. But
Sabonis played that up a little bit too. I mean, dude is about as tough as it gets. There's no way he didn't play that up a little bit to try to get Draymond kicked out.
He used his noggin. No, you're right. For full disclosure to all our listeners and viewers, he's one of my handful of favorite players ever in the league. So, and I love Daddy too. So I am not.
I'm with you.
I am not.
I'm a Sabonis guy. I'm a Sabonis guy. Draymond, I'm so torn now on Draymond because I've known him forever and I love Draymond. I do. And I love how he's gotten the most out of his ability. We know that, right?
Yeah.
He really has. I mean, it's amazing how great he is defensively. I love the passion he plays with, but I'm tired of the over and over and over now. I'm tired of it going over the top now.
Does he feel the team needs it, Jeff? Like, that's the thing that I wonder, because we all know Draymond has talent, and he's certainly not just an enforcer or an instigator. No. He's better than that. But does he feel this team needs it?
I just think it's all he knows now. I think it's all he knows.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
See, I would have thought 6 years ago when he cost them a championship, which should be on his resume, and he'll take to his grave, that he cost them a championship, that he would have chastened up, he would have sobered up, he would have changed it, cleaned up the act and realized how detrimental, and he hasn't. He hasn't. And he hasn't. He didn't learn from that. I can't believe that. And I'm going to repeat. He cost them a championship with that stupid suspension.
I think he likes being disliked. I think he thrives on being disliked.
Oh,
he wants that.
Crowds,
he loves being a bad guy.
Yes.
But I mean, it's okay if there's. We've seen it. If you go back to the, whether it's Rulin or Mahorn. Lambier. Lambier. That's how he existed in the league. But this guy doesn't have to do that. Yeah. Anyways. Fellas, I want to get to this. Dillon Brooks chirping LeBron James. Does that mean the king is losing respect, Bob?
This is Dillon Brooks. We just talked about a guy, Damon Green, who has created a character for himself, a role that he's going to play. Dillon Brooks is in the midst of creating his own role that he is choosing to play, and that's that. So that's my opinion. That's my take. I want to hear what Jeff has to say for sure. But that's all. So not many people would want to do that. They have too much respect for LeBron, I would think. But this is Dillon Brooks's just the path he's chosen. He wants to be that guy, and I think he has full confidence in his mind that he can back it up.
I think he wants to be Draymond. I think that's what Dillon Brooks looks at Draymond, and he's like, you know what, I can be that guy. And it's funny because Dillon was super quiet when I first met him. He was like a mid-major recruit in AAU until the end. Yeah, like his junior year, it was like Dayton was the highest offer he had. And then Oregon came on late. And I loved his game. And I think now it just kind of takes away from how good a player he is sometimes. I think Dillon Brooks is just going to be known as a little bit of a clown now because of the way he's conducting himself and the way he's talking. And like, man, it's LeBron James. Like, come on, shut the you-know-what up. Shut up. It's LeBron.
So, but now he's got our attention that we want to see. Can't wait for the next game to see what's going to happen. Because LeBron's history is that he reacts in a very affirmative way when these things happen. To whatever degree they happen. This is as blatant as it's ever been. Yeah. Someone dissing him in that regard.
So, gentlemen, to put a bow on this, and Jeff, I'll start with you and then with Bob. At this point of the postseason, do we have any idea who's going to be who the two teams will be there in the end? Because to me, we don't.
No, because it's last man standing. To me, it's like it's whoever's healthy. That's the biggest thing right now. The Celtics look pretty healthy, right? The Bucks, Giannis is hurt. Memphis has got Ja hurt. The Lakers, again, I just don't have faith that both LeBron and AD are going to get through this playoffs unscathed. I think it does. Phoenix looks healthy right now. They look healthy. So if you're putting a gun to my head right now, I'm saying Phoenix, Boston. Yeah. I feel like the talent on both, they probably are 1A and 1B in terms of overall talent, and they're the healthiest.
Yeah. Now the Bucks, of course, the Giannis thing is crucial.
Yeah, backs aren't good.
They did win a game without him, but they're not going to win too many.
They didn't just win a game. Hey, they didn't just win a game without him.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. No, that's why I still have healthy respect for them. I'll tell you, I think I've mentioned this before, guys, but the guy that I didn't appreciate until he got to Milwaukee was Jrue Holiday.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's really good and reliable. I think so. Now, of course, they always have to wait. Middleton has a way of getting hurt all the time, so we don't know how that's going to play out either. But no, the Celtics are in good shape right now. Hey, all right, they're control their destiny as much as any team. I think because Phoenix isn't very deep, they got an issue there. But no team is better control of its destiny. So I want to see them do it. That's all. You have no excuse, guys, right now. Right at this moment, on this particular date, before they play another game again, Game 3 against Atlanta, as we speak, they have control of their destiny and more than any team in the league. I'm not predicting they're going to win. I'm just saying they have control of their own destiny.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. We will talk to you again next week. This episode of the Bob Bryant, Jeff Goodman, Tanguay Along for the Ride podcast, brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. And don't miss out on your chance to get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. See you next time, guys.